Righto. Haven't done anything for a long time. 3 weeks, 3 days ago, I had my knee replaced. If you're squeamish, look away. It's a pretty good scar, but so considering that's like I said, 3 weeks, 3 days, the docs and the physio seems to be pretty happy. It hurts. Anyone who's had a knee replaced knows what I'm talking about. So I'm not particularly coherent. Still take some pretty strong pain medication at night, but not during the day. Anyway, I digress. So stir crazy's got to me, and I've got back out into the shed and got some more progress with the fast system. So I'll start at the back and we'll go forward. So return. I've decided to run the return into the original fill point. Might seem a bit crazy, but that's an original sender and fill point or suction point. I don't see why we can't just run the return to that. So that's what we've done, and done a pretty neat job, I think, of getting the hose out of the way as it should be. That's probably from memory around where the original factory feed line went anyway. I remember snapping one across the Barclay Highway in the coupe many years ago, but anyway. And then of course our main feed line with our new wire. So this is the stuff that Fast cover everything in. Very high quality. The wiring with the Holly was high quality, but Fast just go that extra step. So there it is going up into the hole there. I've got to get a new grommet. I haven't wired it up to the pump yet, so we've just been under the car. So managed to get both these into the sill. So I've got a bung for that, so I've just got to fit that up. It reminds me I saw it just before. And going along, and it comes out there. The wiring comes out there. We've got it nicely strapped down, so I reckon that's pretty neat. I'm not unhappy with that outcome. The oxy sensor. Similar but different, so it's a wideband O2, just like the Holly system is, but it's slightly different. So it's just touching the chassis there. I'm not really bothered by that. It's got so a pretty good sheath on it. I might put some insulation in there. It had a little clip to attach it to a chassis point. Well, conveniently we had a hole, and we had a bit of spare loom, so I've just tucked it up. Held it in with zip tie. I think that's pretty good. Might put another zip tie here. Can't have too many zip ties, as I've always said. And up into the ECU. The ECU's mounted where I'm pointing. So that's the underside of the car for now. So that's the, sorry, not coherent. The wiring and the return line, and we've managed to tuck it mostly into the chassis, which is nice. So that'll do for now, and we'll go up to the engine bay tomorrow. Righto, so we're going through the Fast install after the Holly uninstall. Holly Sniper, that is, versus Fast EFI. Why am I filming this? Unfortunately, I had to drill some holes into the car in a difficult position, and I bought this some time ago off eBay. I think it's 30 bucks, can't remember. A little right angle drill, and it allows you to pivot on your drill. But what I discovered, I thought I really needed something short, and I thought, wonder if I could use the chuck to hold the screw to screw it in using the chuck. Well, I got lucky. You can, so that's just a little tip. I don't know, might help someone. So the Fast install. She's a different animal. We knew that. So I've had to undo everything, pretty much everything. So a couple of things. These are a couple of the old Holly wires, this one and this one for thermo fans. Well, they are negative trigger, exact opposite on the Fast. The Fast requires a return system pretty much no matter what. Now, I think you can run returnless, I've read, but they're pretty adamant, and they supply your pressure regulator. Now, in my install, and excuse the fans in the background, it is 37 today, so we've finally got some summer. It's not climate change, that's okay. These are the fuel pressure regulator supplied by Fast for a return system. Now, I've got a Holley in-tank pump, returnless. Now, I'm just looking at options here. So Fast supply you a gauge. I already fitted one. And if you're going to fit a sniper system, you need a gauge, believe me. The sniper system runs at 60 psi. The Fast will run at 60 psi. However, they recommend for 550 horsepower and below, 43 psi is where you should go. So the fuel injectors in this thing, there's 4 of them, are rated exactly the same as the Holley Sniper. They both run 650 psi, 650 horsepower at 60 psi fuel. But Fast don't want you to do that. They want you to pull it back a little bit. So I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pressure regulator. So that'll come off this tube here. We'll hook the end tank here, unless I change the whole line, and I may have to yet. I don't know if I've got enough real estate left in the original tube to get up to here safely, not hitting an exhaust. And I know it looks bloody messy at the moment. That's because it is. So the ECU I've mounted here. Really didn't get any other option, because inside the glove box I've got the ice system, so that'll interfere with it, and there's an amplifier also at the back of the glove box. So, but we've got the air box and insulation in between that and those two items, so I'm happy we're not going to get any EMI issues for this computer. Also, it's a long way away now from the distributor, the coil, aircon solenoid, alternator, cruise control solenoids, or whatever else might upset an EFI system. And I guess my rationale is, well, let's have a look at a 5.4 Boss installations of GT. And I'm thinking just how much electronics is sitting there that close to the Ford ECU. So I'm thinking, you know, there's coil-on packs here about the same distance to one ignition lead for the Fast. So I'm just going to take a punt. This is my best bet. Obviously the system's going to be a lot more busy in its wiring and all the rest of it, but it's all right, we'll get there. So these are the main power wires. These are your triggers for your thermo fans and the IAC. It has an IAC just like the Holley, where it'll bump the idle up once your aircon's kicked in. Nice bit of you know, that we can run these things. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do that. The handheld has got so much cord spare. Now I've got it into the car. I'll see how much I'll wrap it up into the car. It's not going in the glove box this time. I'm going to put it in the console and just have it in full view the whole time this time. We're going to do things a little bit differently. And then of course we're going to have to rewire the fuse box to an extent. And then the big thing is routing wires. Seriously, here's another thing I think I might have mentioned already. This is the input from your ignition into the Fast computer, which is over there. But there's a module that goes in between these things to clean out the signal. That may have also been a problem with the Holley for me, where it was just erratic, in that it would just decide, no, I'm negative 40 degrees. Well, no, I'm not anymore. Well, yes, I am now. 4 systems can't be wrong, although one just died. That said, the last 9 times I started this bloody car, the old Sniper worked just fine, so I give up. But anyway, we're going to leave the Holley in-tank pump and its dirty big hydromat I've only just fitted. That was $450, so I don't want to waste that. I'd rather use it. The pump itself works fine, and we will just use another regulator. We'll have dual gauge, regulator, return, and I'll use the original old school feed line as the return line to put the fuel back into the car. The headlight just died. So at the moment we're just laying things out. That's all I'm doing, and it's going for a fit up. I hate drilling holes in my car, and I was luckily enough that one of the studs for the aircon box was long enough, and it's a 1/4 inch stud, so it's well and truly strong enough to hold the pressure regulator. So that's the location we're going to pick for that. I think that's about it for the moment. It's a lot bigger job and not for the faint-hearted, and I see why, you know, home installers would prefer the Holly. This is just going to take longer, and the layout of the thing is the big thing for me. So I like my engine bay to look as neat as possible. At the moment it's literally a rabbit's nest, but anyway, chook's nest, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, we'll pull it up there and see where we get to at the end of the day. I just thought I'd go through the pressure regulator a little bit, because this is a significant difference between the Holly system and the Fast. First thing I'd like to point out, being an aircraft engineer, is I like this. These are what we call the boss fitting, and I don't know if you can see that, but they've got an O-ring. So there's a little chamfer here and a boss O-ring, rather than threaded tape. Really like that quality. Have to put threaded tape on the reference line, which is what I want to sort of talk about a little bit, and the gauge. No big deal. This reference line, its function is to create an equilibrium of manifold pressure change to keep the head of pressure of fuel relevant, or relative, I beg your pardon. For example, if you set to 43 psi, which is what we're going to do according to the gauge, and in my system we'll have 2 gauges, and I'll go through that in a sec. This little port line here is a compensating line. So if you're running boost and you add 10 psi of manifold pressure to that line, this will then change the reference pressure of fuel from 43 to 53. Very bloody clever. Additionally, if you have vacuum, which I'm going to have, and let's say at low idle, or on aeroplane blue, at idle, engine idle, you've got a really low manifold pressure. So in other words, a vacuum, then if it's a 10 psi vacuum, if we're measuring in psi, right, and standard atmosphere is 14.4, if you get a 10 psi drop in your inlet manifold, it will also compensate the pressure down to 43 psi. In other words, it keeps a standard head of pressure irrespective of manifold pressure to the fuel injectors. Really clever. Now, I'm still running a Holly pump in this thing, and it regulates to 60 psi, and it's returnless system, so it dumps the fuel directly in the tank. So the pump's located here, and it dumps it straight back in the tank. With this system, it really does want you to run a return. So I've now run a return. Hopefully it'll work out all right. And I'm using the old carby pickup line to return the fuel in. The fuel returns out of the return port. And this will take over as the primary regulator. Irrespective of what the one in the fuel tank's doing at 60 psi, this is going to bring it down and dump it back into return to the fuel tank at 43 psi, and then even less because of this adapter here. And as you go up in RPM and you put the engine under extreme load, your manifold pressure doesn't have much vacuum, and it gets around about, won't be far off atmospheric, and this will adjust accordingly. So I think that's really clever, that the fact they've really thought this through to keep a standard head of pressure and lower than what it needs for full power. Like I said, these injectors will run at 60 psi, they will run 650 horsepower just like the Sniper. However, they've thought about it. In my application, I'll be lucky to see 400 horsepower of the 351, roller can, roller rockers, ported heads, all the rest of it. It'll be about where it's at. It'll be in the high 3s, maybe a 4, we'll see. And it is really built better in my mind. We'll see what time will tell, to give you better fuel parameters through the injection system. So I just thought I'd point that out. Okay, so essentially the system is now in. Some fundamental similarities, I guess, more than differences with the Holley wiring, direct to the battery, aka Holley. This one's a bit more basic in its accessory drive. So grey wire here picks up positive to the aircon solenoid, which is over there, and the blue wire runs the thermofan. It is negative. I was wrong before on a previous video. It is negative. So all I've done is piggyback this wire. I'm not going to take the relay box back out to show you, but I've piggybacked that to 2 relays. And the way I've set it up now is that it doesn't matter whether the aircon is running a thermofan or the fast is going to run a thermofan. They will both run both. And the reason for that is when we did the aircon, we just weren't getting enough airflow, and I think I said that before, over the condenser with one thermofan. So bugger it, let's just go for 2 and 2. Just an easy way of doing it. So both relays fired. So individual relays to individual thermofans. So there's 4 relays for 2 fans. And there'll be an occasion where the fast wants it running as well as the aircon. It doesn't matter, it's just power to power. It's not going to cause any problems. So that's that. This gives a bit of bump and throttle. I didn't hook this up on the Holley. I can't remember if you could, but that's what this one does, and that's all you have. There's no more adds to this one. It doesn't control ignition. So without any further ado, we're hooked up. I guess we'll see if there's any smoke comes out now. This would be good. Ignition. Ooh, there we go. Right. Now we heard the pump run. And it's saying 20 psi there. So it's probably just fired it up just for initial start, and that's it. It's kicked it back off. So now I've got to go through the wizard. I'm not going to do that on video because I don't really know what I'm doing, but we'll go through the setup wizard and see how we go. Righto, there we go. Thermofans operating with aircon and the fast system, so that's really good. I haven't got to a screen yet which is going to show me everything. Air fuel ratio is working itself out. The first time I started it, note to self, first time I started this system, it ran as rich as a bitch. And I'm thinking, oh man, there's something really wrong here. And the throttle screw, which is an Allen key by the way, was way out of adjustment. But the more it ran, it ended up, well, no, just like this. So it seems to have settled down well. Very quickly, it's operating the thermos, which I'm really happy about. And the aircon system's operating the thermos. We've got a nice idle. Fuel pressure, I think it's right, it's about 38, but it compensates for manifold pressure being down. So that's probably right. Seems to run all right. So I guess the proof of the pudding is taking the thing for a drive, which I can't do at the moment, so I'm still taking medication. So that's a bit sucky. ECU down there has got a little blue light on. I think that means good. But throttle cable clip is somewhere under the car. I can't find the bloody thing. It's popped off, so I stole this one off the ute.
Well, seems to run all right. Mind you, all the Hollies started just fine too. So it's learning air fuel ratio, that's good. I don't know what else you can do with these bloody there we go, that's air fuel ratio, and that's its target. IAC, that's low. RPM, I want 750, it's not far off. Coolant is in Celsius. Air temperature map, just got a lot of information in it. Yeah, wow. Live data, we'll just go back with that. I don't think there's much to see here. So the next thing, the thermo fan should kick off in a sec. There we go. Oh, lovely. I guess one of the big problems I had with all the Hollies was the restart. So let's do that straight after you've kicked it off. Boot it up. Well, there you go. No problems. Righto. Let's hope we're on to a winner. Long term, so it's just initial. There's no guarantee this thing's going to last like the Holly. Interesting, I've left the old coolant temperature sensor, the Chevrolet one, and it works just fine. So not unhappy at the moment, not unhappy at all. I think I'll pack it up today because my knee is just giving me no end of trouble. That'll do, mum. Righto, so we've got the fast system working. This is the screen now in my hand rather than being plugged in. So I'm trying to work out fitment. Now, I don't want to do the glove box again like I did with the Holly, and to be frank, I don't think this plug will stuff through with the other looms that are already going through the glove box for the ice ignition, and I really didn't want any components from the fast too close to the ice box either, because potential AMI issues. So I'm gonna have to drill a hole in my console right in my socks. It comes with this little bracket for the screen, and it's designed to, you know, suction onto a hard surface. Here's one we prepared earlier. That's not even doing that. Good one. Try it again. Oh, it's not doing it. Well, there we go. Well, that's what it's meant to do, but clearly doesn't bloody work. Nope. Try again. No, obviously glass only. That's no good. It won't suck to hair. Sorry for wasting time. So there is this little bracket that it sits into that little piece that doesn't work, the suction piece, but we should be able to modify this, drill a hole through it, and perish the thought, but I really don't seem to have an option but to screw it in. Really don't want to be doing this. Not what I want to do at all. And the other thing is I've got to make sure, so toing and froing, that we can fit that in without the screen hitting the bloody hell, Blue, think about it. Sorry for that, I'm still on some medications for my knee. The ashtray, this sits under the ashtray. Slowly, I'm just moving around very slowly. So I guess we'll have to put it all back together, put the ashtray back in, and then fit the console, just put it into place, and then I'll see how much real estate we've got. Before I go drilling holes in my beautiful console, I'll just see if this actually is the only option that we have. So the idea is that I'll fit it in like that. Loom will tuck down over there, and I'll hide most of the surplus loom just in under here, and that should look pretty neat. Alright, that's always the aim. You want it to look finished. Righto, so we're done. All back together, nice and clean. And we're not, oh geez. Sorry, everything I do is just so slow. In fact, my mate that's come around to give me a hand, he's had both knees done. So, what I come up with is simply that. There it is, there's plenty of loom we can pull out. Too easy. And like I said, we can start the car. Retro radio's working again, happy about that. I like the way the fast starts, actually. In fact, there's a few things about the fast that I am liking straight off the bat compared to the sniper system. So hopefully you can see that. There we are. Like I said, good to go, live data, car's warm, so expect it to be pretty good. Coolant's at 146, and there we are. Beautiful. So you don't need this thing plugged in, so you don't need to mount the bloody thing, which is really a blessing. You don't drive around your new car with looking at all the engine data. It's just in the computer, which is where it should be. And no, she's feeling good. So we get to drive it now in a couple of days. We're a little bit over rego, so we're going to get another pink slip, but that's all sorted out. We'll have it done, and we'll take it for drive. And I might actually film some driving for a change, because I've never done that. Oh, I don't know if I've ever shown this before either, but there's the ICE system. So, and I am running my voltage booster. And I look, honest to God, I've run the system with and without, and I reckon it's better with the booster. Without doubt, the thing just runs cleaner, particularly when it used to be on LPG. But yeah, I'll probably buy one again. I don't know, I'm definitely going to get ICE again. I like their product, and it's an Australian product, so I'll always try and do that. But yeah, really happy actually, it's good.